Hey everyone, I'm Ansley. I'm a realtor with the Hupman Group.
I'm Andrea. I'm also a realtor with the Hupman Group.
I just roped her in at the last minute for this. She found out about 35 seconds ago she's doing this.
Yeah.
But something that we wanted to bring back up from last week is the appraisal gap. So we talk about appraisal gaps all the time, but we got a couple of messages asking what that is, and to kind of just do more of a deep dive into what an appraisal gap is. And I tell my clients, and you can jump in at any point if you say anything else with your clients, but I tell my clients, if a house is priced fairly and it's turnkey and ready to go, and we have a pretty good understanding of what that home might appraise at based at comparable properties, we call them comps, in the area. So let's say that we've got a house, I've got a buyer looking at a house listed at $260, and I go in and I pull the comparable properties in the area, and I sit down with my buyer and I say, look, it's priced on the nose. Like, the listing agent did their job, they priced it fairly. Now, in our market, where we're seeing multiple offers left and right, just had, Jen had 25 offers on a property last week. But say I'm sitting down with my client and we know the house is priced well at $260. We know that the home is probably going to sell for more than $260, because we can expect at that price point we're probably going to have anywhere of 5, 10, 15 plus offers. Yeah. That's when the appraisal gap comes into play. That's when we start talking with our buyers about, hey, if you're using a loan, and that's the majority of people.
Yeah.
But if you're using a loan and Mr. Buyer, you really want this house, and we know that it's going to sell for more than $260, well, your lender's only gonna give you the fair market value of that home. The lender's only gonna give you how much the home appraises for. So you can put an offer in at $270 or $280 all day, any day, but the house would have to appraise for $270 or $280 for the seller to ever see $270 or $280. So that's when we start talking about what can we do for an appraisal gap. So in a perfect world, if we're going, let's say we go to $280 on this house, this hypothetical house I'm making up, listed at $260. We go to $280, that $20,000, that gap, so to speak, in a perfect offer, we're gonna offer that gap in cash if the house does not appraise for $280. So anywhere it falls in between $260 and $280, we're offering up to $20,000 in cash, up to that amount, not to exceed it. In the event that, Mr. Seller, your home doesn't appraise at $280, we come in, let's say it comes in at $270, and then the buyer comes $10,000 out of pocket. So wouldn't you say it's one of the trickier things to explain in offers?
Very much so, but you have to do it so that yours can outshine other ones.
Yes.
Like, this is a way for that our buyers are being able to win.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And on the listing side, I mean, we see offers. There are plenty of buyers in our market that will go over the asking price. So in this situation, say a buyer comes along, they're using a loan, they go in at $280 and there's no appraisal gap. Well, the seller's agent's going to look at that and go, okay, well, I priced my home fairly. Mm-hmm. So I know the house is probably going to appraise at $260. So if you're using a loan and you're offering me $280 and there's no appraisal gap, we're never going to see $280.
Yeah.
So explaining that is sometimes trickier because, of course, it can get confused with the earnest money. And it can get confused with closing costs. But in a crazy market like what we're in, that appraisal gap, I mean, there are situations where it just barely, but it tips the odds in that buyer's favor just to have it.
Even 5,000, not even 20. Like just.
Oh, I'm going big over here with 20.
I know. She's the downtown girl.
Yeah. But true, even just $5,000. Even I've written offers for let's see, there was a townhome we did an appraisal gap for $3,000, and we went $3,000 over the asking price. We promised that gap in a full appraisal gap. We never had to use it because the house appraised. So that's another component of everything, is you don't always have to use the appraisal gap.
Yeah.
So would you say, out of everything that we are writing into offers, would you say the appraisal gap is like at the top of the list?
Yes. Yeah.
I paid her to say that. I'm just kidding.
No, but appraisal gaps, and then the escalation clauses.
The escalation clause.
Know,
We're gonna have to do a deep dive on the escalation clause,
because that can get tricky too.
Yeah.
But those are the top things that you want to, try to explain.
So next time, maybe we'll do a deeper dive into the escalation clause and how the appraisal gap goes into that, and then how we can kind of line up all of these things in a competitive offer in today's competitive environment. So, thank you, Andrea. Thanks for coming in at the last
Shelby
second.
had her baby.
And Shelby had her baby!
Yeah, so that's why I'm here.
Yes, that is why she's here. Shelby had her baby, Graham, last night.
Yesterday morning. Mm-hmm.
It's all blurring together.
Yeah.
So, we're excited about that.
Yeah.
So next time you see her on this, she's not gonna be pregnant anymore. Maybe we'll even have a new baby.
And a Hupman group, like onesie. Okay.
A Hupman baby.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, bye.